welcome back. I am LordMaddog, and we are playing Kerbal Space Program. Last time, we launched the Explorer. Well, we crashed the Explorer, and we crashed the Explorer, we crashed the Explorer, and we crashed the Explorer, and then we finally succeeded in a successful launch. Yes, that's what happened. I remember now. Okay, so, and then we flew all the way out here to Duna, where we built ourselves a Duna Bob rescue launcher. So that's where we're going to pick up right where we left off. We're going to try to rescue Bob. Do we succeed? You'll have to watch and find out. Okay, we need to give ourselves some liquid fuel and oxygen for this thing here. Speed up the time as it produces show UI, save, and release. And we have a liftoff. However, we have a bug, and when I released, it didn't give me my fuel, it just stole it. So we need a reload. Happens. It's a bug with the game. Sometimes when you release, it takes you resources. Sometimes when you don't, it won't. A lot of times it does. And make sure it's actually done. This time it didn't steal my resources. And those resources, when they get stolen like that, they're just gone. But it's fine. Set as target. Here I try to use, stupidly, I try to use land guidance. And obviously it doesn't work. I'll tell you that right now. However, I did find out why it's not working for me, because I always turn my probes to the 90 degrees to the left. Alright, so this thing's designed for the probes to be 90 degrees to the right. Or is it the other way around? Well, it depends on how you're looking at it. Yeah, I always tone it clockwise. And it's designed to be default opposite direction, so that's why it was always miscalculating. That's why it never works. And so obviously that didn't work. I have to reload. This time I thought, well, if that didn't work, maybe if I have a probe specifically in there upside down, attached to it upside down, because I thought that was, you know, because I read online that you have to turn your probes upside down. Well, what happens when you fly prograde when you're trying to fly it retrograde? You tell me this, riddle me that, mister, and you will know what happens when I try to use landing guidance with an upside down probe. I will skip forward so you don't have to wait for it to spin all the way around. See, there, it decides to fly forward, so that didn't work. Which leaves me with only one option. To land manually, which I've never been able to very good to land an atmosphere right on target. That's always been a very hard thing to try to do. But here I will try to do that, and you will get to see the results of me doing that. First off, we need to match our plane so it's directly over top. And I forgot to switch around. I'm controlling from my other probe still. My upside down probe. So once again, reload. Once again, maneuver node. I'll jump a little bit forward so you don't have to see me do that. Then execute maneuver node. Yes. And we need then try to drop down. I want to drop down as pretty much straight on as possible. At least this was my assumption. And I overshot, so I had to reload. Do I? Yeah, I overshot big time. So here, that was the first try, just to see the difference, to see what type of aerodynamic force we're facing. Obviously, the aerodynamic forces do not change much at all. But once you do get into the atmosphere, you do fall pretty slowly due to atmospheric density and the weight ratio of the planet. So once you get down there, it's pretty good. But there's hardly any atmospheric resistance. So I have to recalculate my burn to be a lot more steep than what I had originally planned. There we go. And there it moved on me a bit. Wish there was like some way to zoom in or specifically angle, because I couldn't see exactly where it was at, but I was a little bit off, as you can see. So I've got to try to fix that. It's like 7K away, so we're trying to aim towards them, try to get my actually, now thinking back about it, I probably could have, because that thing was, it only did have half of it. No, it only 1000 delta V, and its oxidizer was not coming back. So here I keep on trying to get my direction in that direction. I'm getting closer. Only gonna end up being about 1K away, which isn't really that bad once you're landed. However, in some weird reason, I instantly lose probe core control, which doesn't make a lot of sense, seeing as I have the biggest satellite system set up above me, and I have that right there. There's no way I should have lost. This has been a relay from here to there with no problem whatsoever. But it didn't. I lost relay. So you see I'm dancing around here because I can't fine-tune my drop, which sucks. Can't fine-tune my throttle, and like I said, that doesn't make any sense. Right there's a relay. I'm flying 2K over top of a relay, and so I should definitely be able to have, and that thing can go straight to where I need it to go. And once again, lose control over my probe core completely this time, instead of a little bit, completely lost control. But because They're doing this low gravity, hitting the ground at 2. It's not too bad. Trying to switch to it. Wouldn't let me switch to it. There we go. EVA. And then fly over the mountain back to it. Bob! Yay! Oof, ouch. Oh, no, we need to fly higher. No, don't get some knee scrapes. Yes! We are off! EVA got tons left. Thanks to low gravity of Duna. We could probably actually get into space almost with the amount of EVA fluid this thing has. Actually, you know what? I should have tried that. I don't think that'd work, but I might have been. Finally, going home from this disaster. Well, disaster is spelled wrong. Let's call it a mess. Yes, mess. That's about right. Yes, climb on, go aboard. And then, wait. How do I flip this thing back upright? It landed on its side. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen. It's not designed to be on its side. Well, maybe we can roll it. Maybe we can roll it so it's going up the hill, or maybe get it to stand up by its, no. That didn't work. SSA just disengaged. Well, we lost out of power. We ran out of power. So now we can't even turn. And we just try to speed and we blow ourselves to bits. Bob died. Yes, that was just wonderful, wasn't it? Thank God for reload. Bob died. That didn't work. That was a too fast drop down. So we reload again and try that yet again. This time, land somewhere. The probe lander. And we actually land. Except for we tip over. Well, that's just brilliant. Why would it tip over? Because it has to say fast enough. Actually, that's why. So we try it again. Now, SAS instantly stops ourselves from tipping over. There we go. Now we can go get Bob again and fly all the way back over. And I'll skip that for you. This time I remembered to grab the reader first. We're going to grab, so you grab the 90 stored data, which is nice. We're going to fly over, plant our little flag, same thing as last time. I don't remember doing that, but okay. Activate extend lander. Come on, Bob, climb. Extend lander. Extend lander. Ladder. And then instantly fall off. Well, that was peachy. Face plant into ladder. Bob survives the Wild of Dunas just to die by smashing his helmet against the ladder trying to get into the ship. Now it's time to launch and go into orbit. Oops. I set that as my target. I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to do that either. I keep on hitting his target because I wanted to see which direction I need to fly. Now, if only I could have got a little bit more of 1000 delta V with the other thing, and could have got it back into what's it called, but because its oxidizer was always gone, I could not. So here we are readjusting my flight path. Actually, I probably could have just sent down a little thing full of a little fuel tank full of liquid fuel would have worked, and then I could have just taken Bob and send him home. I didn't even think about that. I didn't have to go through this whole liquid oxidizer and liquid fuel tank. You just send it down and have Bob connect it up. No, because I would have had to land even closer. That would have been annoying. Getting close enough to actually land them together? Not likely. There we go. Now we're going to try to align our orbits so we can begin our rendezvous. Now we can pretty much target, but not exactly target. We gotta just, there we are. We now have a pretty good setup. So we just need to spin around and come to the end of my resourcefulness for this mission, because I didn't put any what are they called? Anything to generate any power. I didn't put any solar panels on this at all. So I try to use this, but because he has no power, he can't do it either. I thought he was able to do it, mech jab, but no, not able. No way. Here I tried to do it manually. And just put out a very little bit of fuel at a time to but no, because the fuel, I mean the gimbals, there's gimbals on the so here I keep on trying to mess with it, and eventually I realize it's not going to work. Just not going to. So, that's an example of being stranded. And that's how most of those missions that you go to rescue somebody should be. Either they ran out of electricity or they ran out of fuel. Instead of finding them in just this Mark 1 lander cab floating in the middle of space, in the middle of nowhere, no idea how they got there, just kind of magically. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Should have some type of ship with them. It really should. I've never actually seen a mod to fix that either, though, which is strange, to be honest. Alright, so I have to use this as my rendezvous, but the problem with this is it uses powered engines, and MechJab doesn't like powered engines. It doesn't know how to deal with powered engines. So it always burns too soon or too early, or instantly starts burning. And here it burned way too soon. So I've got to manually attune it. Disengage autopilot. We are going to fly around it. Come on, come on, come on. Engage. Take that little burn to get ourselves in alignment. There we go. And the next burn is 46 minutes. And I will not make you suffer for the very long round times. I've happened to go all the way around it. There we are. We are now burning. We completed that burn. And once again, you have to go all the way around. Just slowly. Engage autopilot. So it'll automatically do that. There we go. Does that burn? There we are. There's Bob, 5K away from us. I went too fast and he shot past, but that's fine because we can go towards him again. Meters per second. Here I speed up time, let it pass a little bit, and get ready to burn retrograde. So I'm done with the rendezvous autopilot. As soon as he gets close, I speed myself down some. Oh, I wasn't quite done with autopilot. There we are. I want to leave myself going at least a little bit of speed. And switch to Bobby. Bob! Take science. You scientist, you. Jebediah! It's been forever since I seen you, bro, he says as he climbs into the lander pod where Jebediah is at. He has been out here for almost a year. And we just gained a whole bunch of science from that guy that we'll take home eventually, I guess. It's stored in this can here. Way on the inside. There it is. Oops, no, that's not it. It's farther in. Let's see if we can find it. It's on the internal workings of my system. There it is. There, 120 data. Container transfer. You can transfer it to somewhere else, but there's no other ship on here that can hold it right now. So I just leave it where it's at. Yay! Go ahead and use the data there. I just have to find the things that's given the science. It's over here on this side. And clean experiments. And transmit 46 science. Level up crew. Everyone just gained to level 3. Because they were on Minimus, and then they came out to Duna, and they've been flying around Duna, so yeah, they're level 3 now. Yes, and now we need to build some type of lander. Yep, a lander that can go down to the surface and give us data. First, I'm thinking about spending some of the science. I'm going to go ahead and think I'm going to leave the science for now. I'm looking at the Kerbenstein fusion engine. I don't even know what it does, but it looks interesting enough. But I don't even need it, actually, to be honest. So after thinking about it, I think I actually end up spending some science over here, but not on what you would think. Because those things aren't all that great. I need mini propulsions. I forgot I needed that for my rover, I think. And the Vasmir engine, also very interested me, the Vasmir engine. Alright, so we need to go build a probe that can land on and send back data. So we start out, I load up the sick bot, and I'm thinking I'm going to make something with the sick bot. And I start doing it, and then I realize, I don't really want to use the sick bot. Let's use the toy rover. So after messing with the sick bot, a few minutes, I go into here and I load up the toy rover. I would show you me building this, except for it's a really long time, and I go through like 16 different iterations of it. Because the big problem I run into is not having enough power to send back data. So in keeping it this small and still have enough power becomes a really big problem. So I'm going to skip forward. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I did somewhat. I installed, at this iteration, I installed satellites here. Well, not satellites. Well, I'm putting this thing over it. I have bigger connection pieces there. It's communications, and I have for power source, I have whatever that thing's called. I have a couple of them in there, put in there. The RTGs. Now, I know this wouldn't really work because I don't have that resource on my ship. I don't have any butane, decaying butane or whatever it is. It's a nuclear reactor substance, I think, that slowly decays over time, that generates electricity and heat and whatnot. But I don't actually have any of that on my ship. But in this game, all it takes is it doesn't actually have any resources, so you can just build it there just for regular cost. But I think I could probably get butane. There's multiple moons I probably could have mined it off of, or actually just been inside the ore, or whatever it is that you need to them. I do have nuclear reprocessors, but I don't have one on my ship. I could make one big enough to make nuclear reprocessor from ore. I don't know how that works. I guess that actually wouldn't work. No, you'd have to find a safe source, but I could have taken some with me. And it's a very, very, very small amount. So we'll just say I thought ahead. And in one of those gigantic containers of ore, there is a special slot that contains the resources I need to build these rovers, which would make sense. And something like this would be super planned out. there would be some margin for error, but it'd be super planned out. Alright, so this is my first iteration of the toy rover. I'm going to go ahead and build one. Rename my ship, the Explorer Space Station. But that doesn't take, because I end up actually having to reload. Oh, my productivity is now 95 because everyone's level 3. So it only takes 4 minutes to build one of these things. So you got really super advanced engineers inside there, all getting together and going, all right, let's build these things. And putting them out like assembling a toy car, which more or less is what they are. So speed up a bit. We're gonna go ahead and finish and show the first one. Now the first finalize. I like how these things turned out, the container and everything. So because there we go. They're producing fill up these things. It's somehow stopped the build doing it for some reason. Okay, so I actually activated again. Now everyone's full. Liquid fuel. Save game. And we're gonna launch our first probe. Release. And I love how it bounces, it ejects away when you release it like that. That's really cool. So we go ahead and take it and turn it onto retrograde. Activate engine. And I'm not going to show you me doing it all, because this probe was just a test and ended up having to reload. And one of the reasons why is the communications on it weren't big enough. It couldn't send up data, which is strange. It could and couldn't. It was weird. So we get all that. And we get into orbit. We go down. We land. And I'll show you me landing. Boom, land. Decouple. Boom. There we go. Do the science. Laser scan to do all that stuff. Those I don't have enough power for. Duh. Allow partial. Electro scan, nope, not enough power. So we fill it up, and then we speed up, and then we perform it. And there just happens to be enough power for those. But when I transmit, I can't transmit. And I couldn't figure out why. I shot those things off. Okay, so I'm going to jump forward a little bit. Cannot transmit data, transmit untransmittable, cannot transmit science, connected remote control. It just didn't make any sense. Could not commit science. I had full connection and everything, but for some reason he wouldn't let me transmit science. So that was that one. So I had to fly up higher into the air. I thought, well, I might be able to fly back up and deliver the science personally, because I had 5,000. So that's what I decided to try to do. I thought, man, well, probe, I'll get more science if I can get it to return. But no, to make a probe to return, that would take a lot of work. And for Donut at least. And it just turned out not to be worthwhile. I was transmitting science, so we what am I doing with that? No. Okay, we reloaded, and we are going to have to build another rebuild our probe, our Arduino probe. So we're rebuilding it, making that bigger because I realized I didn't have enough torque when I turning. Rebuilding it. Continue to rebuild it. And yeah, we rebuild it completely again. This time we added an actual unit. A real communication device, a dish. So that was, and then we tested it. It seemed to be okay. Tested it, flipping around and everything. So, and I think that's where we're going to quit today for now, before we actually go ahead and launch it again. I will see you later. I will keep on working on it here. Thank you for watching. LordMaddog signing off.